What's up, world? It's your girl, Felicity Brown, host of this All Say It Then podcast. Yo, this is the podcast that may just motivate your day. So make sure you turn me up while I break the bullshit down. Yo. What's up, guys? This is your hostess with the mostest opinion, Felicity Brown. And I want to welcome you guys to the very third episode of this All Say It Then podcast. Today, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't quit your daydream. And we're also going to talk about State of the Union address with Donald Trump. Let's get into this podcast, guys. Diva. Okay, you're not going to say it? I'll say it then. Okay, guys. The message for today is, do not quit your daydream. What I mean by do not quit your daydream is, do not give up on what you really want to do. You may be in a career that took you a long time to get there. You had to work your way from the bottom to get a little position of authority or importance in your job. You may be in a career where you may have to went to college for a few years, or you may have had to go to college for 8 years to get where you are, but you still have that thought in the back of your head that what if I did this? Because I was passionate about it, but you may not have proceeded because it may not have been the right financial choice. That's the daydream that I'm talking about. Do not give up on your daydream, because we all deserve to do what makes us happy. Even if your daydream costs $200,000 to start, just to get it up off the ground. Find ways that you could contribute to starting that business that you think about, or that hobby that you think about. No, we all do not have $200,000 just laying in our couch. But find out how you can start moving in the right direction. If your dream requires you to have some type of legal work done, go to your local courthouse. Go to the local area where you would have to file this kind of paperwork and at least find out what you would have to do to get there, instead of just thinking about it all day. Find out what kind of credit score you may need to get a bank's approval for a loan towards that kind of thing. Just make sure that you're trying to move in the correct direction. Because believe it or not, we all in some way can invest in our daydream. That's bull if you sit here and say you can't. Because if you get paid and you go out and have a $50 dinner, if you get paid, you go out and buy a $100 designer shirt. If you get paid and you go out and buy those new sneakers, think hard. Is this really what I want out of life? Yes, we all want things that look nice. We all want to experience the best. But sometimes you have to think of a long-term investment. Maybe if you invest in that daydream, you would be able to still buy those things and still experience those things. But in a long-term standpoint. Because when you go spend $50 on dinner, lunch, when you go buy that designer shirt, when you go buy those expensive new shoes everybody rocking, you're helping someone else with their daydream of them being on top. When you can be investing that money in your own success. I'm not telling people quit your job, go out on a limb, because some of us may have families to support, may have a relative to support, may just have to support ourselves. But when you go out and spend money in the world, think about how is this really benefiting you in the long run. Because see, your body processed that food. You know where it's coming out of. Clothes, every clothing line. Most of the time, a new season is going to come out in a few months. You try to go buy that new car depreciate in value as soon as you pull off the lot. Make sure that what you put your money in is benefiting your daydream and not you just contributing to someone else's. Your daydream is that thing you wish you was doing when you were at work. When you're at work, you're sitting there saying, I could have been doing this. This is what I really want to do. Do not give up on that to support someone else's daydream. We are stuck in a cycle. We get paid, we pay our bills, and we go support someone else's dream with the extra cash that we do have left over. I'm not saying take $100 out your check. Even if you only got $10 to spare, before you go to that gas station and buy a couple beers with that $10, before you go buy a bottle of wine with that $10, you could put it in the bank towards your daydream. If the first step to completing your dream is $100, every time you get a little bit of extra money, put that in the bank towards it. We spend too much time building other people's dreams. We spend too much time working on jobs where we're helping someone else build their dream. But what about you? Don't you deserve to do what makes you happy? What makes them better than you? We all deserve to feel happy when we get up in the morning. We all deserve to feel like this is what I'm doing. I'm excited to do it. How am I going to be on top today? Not I got to go clock in. When I go clock in, I hope these people don't come at me with no BS. That ain't the dream. But when you get paid, you stick yourself in that same cycle by taking your paycheck and go taking it to somebody else's restaurant. You can go to Walmart and get you 3 meals. We take that money, go invest it in somebody $300-$400 designer shoes, $100 designer shoes, $100 designer shirts to build somebody else's dream. If you're going to start a clothing line, wear your clothing. Or at least get your designs done. At least get your name copywritten. At least get your logo out there. We are in the era of the internet. Anything is possible if you know how to use the internet. If you don't know how to use the internet, find someone that does. That's a good way to get that daydream off the ground. You can at least learn to network with other people who have that same dream. Because they may know something that you may not know. But if you never put yourself out there or make steps towards it, you'll never find out. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a daydream off the ground that may cost $100,000 to start. Attend some seminars about what you want to do. You can get on YouTube, but be careful, because I always say do not take YouTubers' opinion as fact. But you can get on YouTube. You can look up a lot of things on the internet just to see if you're going in the right direction, just to see what can I do to get started now. And you can slowly build yourself up to the point where you're starting to accomplish that dream. Even if you make a schedule, this is what you should do. Make a schedule that for at least 2 hours out, 24 of them, or an hour out, 24 of them, I'm going to invest in looking up my daydream, what I really want to do, what I want to start on the side, what I want to accomplish on the side. Your daydream may be a trip. It may not be a business. It may be experiencing something. Go to a travels agent company, find out, how much would this be if I wanted to travel here? How much would I have to pay every month? Do I need a passport for this? How much is a passport? And try to make sure you're investing in your daydream. Do not quit your daydream because you're stuck in the cycle of helping someone else build theirs. It's a dangerous cycle to be stuck in, but millions of us are stuck in that same scene because we're scared. You're scared that if you take a chance on you, you may fail. Or you're scared that people may not like you for what you're doing. It makes you nervous of what somebody else gonna think. Please do not let that aspect of it stop you as well. It may not just be the financial standpoint. It may be you're scared of the reaction you may get from family and friends. Do not let that make you stop your daydreaming or quit the daydream. Don't do that, because there's always going to be somebody that's not going to like you for something. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to love you for what you're doing. They're going to feel inspired by you. Yeah, so-and-so was working at this place, but they took time to build what they really wanted to do, and now they're on top. You want to be that person to have that success story. So-and-so went to college for 10 years to do this. They got into that job where they could support themselves. But they weren't truly happy. So they decided not to give up. They kept fighting for what they wanted to do. Now look at them. You want that to be your success story. And to those of you who are living your daydream, you are blessed. Remember, with doubt will come unsuccess. Believe in your daydream and believe in yourself. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, what the fudge, America? There's no way you didn't approve of Donald Trump's address for State of the Union. There's no way you didn't approve of that message, guys. And let me tell you why that is. Donald Trump State of the Union address, basically, he told us everything we wanted to hear. He talked about canceling the health penalty since Obamacare was put into place, which I always was against. But the reason I was against Obamacare is not the reason he is against Obamacare. He's against Obamacare because he wanted to get rid of everything that had to do with the first black president. That's the only reason he wanted to get rid of anything that had anything to do with Obama, is because he was the first black president. That was his motivation behind canceling that penalty for that health care. He also talked about lowering prescription drug medicine. Everybody in the country wants to hear cheaper prescriptions. Medicine is expensive. Without coverage, you're paying out of pocket. Medicines can cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Co-pays are still expensive. With a copay, sometimes you still got to spend $100 to be seen by your doctor. So who wouldn't want lower prescription medicine? He talks about plans to put groups in other countries to help women develop themselves and empower themselves. Who wouldn't want to hear that? He did that also for a reason. He did that to get the women's vote. And what I mean by the women's vote, Trump used the State of Union address to Congress as a way to relaunch his re-election. He used this to launch his re-election. He talks about the first step, the prison reform plan. He made sure, I'm telling you, he made sure the first guy that was able to take advantage of that program and be released was a black man. He used him. Maybe he's in on it. Maybe some type of Uncle Tom. I don't know. But he used him as an image. So he could say, hey, I did something for the black people, for people of color. So now he's trying to also have the women's vote, and also he's want to have the black people vote. All of this has to do with is his re-election. And of course, let's not forget his precious wall to keep all those brown people out. Don't get me wrong, he made some great points on how other places are safe because of the wall that they built. But we all know your true motivation behind building a wall. It's not about keeping people safe. It's about keeping those brown-skinned people out. Donald Trump State of the Union address has been approved by so many because so many is so gullible. Do not be gullible. Don't let his promises of rainbows and sunshine blind you to the man he really is. Now that that's been said, let me also say this. Do we let the fact that he's trying to blindside us into believing he's a good person stop our vote towards him? Because of the fact that if he cannot get us to back this up, those groups in other countries to empower women won't go. If he can't get the support behind canceling that health penalty, it will still be there. We got to look at the bigger picture. We have to look at prescription costs. That may not be there, the chance to lower it, if we don't give him the support that's needed to get these things into place as a country. We know his real motivation behind it, but do we let that cloud our decision on whether or not these things need to be supported? All I'm saying is don't be gullible and don't let nobody pull the wool over your eyes. He told us everything we wanted to hear in order for him to have a re-election. He talks about North Korea. He talks about there's no nuclear activity in 15 months. I bet there isn't with all the threats you've made. That is a positive. So, Congress got to think about this. Do we cancel the proposals he's asking because we know the kind of person he is? And we, the people, have to think, do we vote against him because of the person we know he is? And let these plans that may change the world slide because of the negative motivation we know is behind it. Do we let these plans slip through the cracks with him? We have to look at the bigger picture. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Hey guys, we finally made it to the end of our very, very, very third episode. I want to thank you guys for listening to this podcast. If you feel like someone you know needs to hear the message that I've shared today, please share this podcast with them and share my podcast on all social media outlets. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts, Speaker, Spotify, etc., please leave me a comment, guys. Please leave me a rate. I would love to hear what you guys think of this podcast so far. Again, thanks for listening. Diva.